Good evening, race fans, and welcome to the Let's Go Racing Motorsports Report. I am Mike Babicz, your host, and we're looking forward to another great night of a lot of racing action here. I'm the voice of the Wilmot Raceway and other area racing from time to time, and we've got a lot of different guests that we're going to get to tonight. But we're going to start off real quickly with a little rundown on what happened at Wilmot Raceway this last weekend. We're going to start off with the wingless sprint cars. The wingless sprint car feature victory went to Alan Tater's Hafford out of Beach Park, Illinois, the sixth different feature winner this year at Wilmot in the wingless sprint cars, and they'll be in action again this coming weekend. In the winged crate cars, the winner was CJ Malig of Johnsburg, Illinois, his second feature win this season. So he's got bookends. He won opening night and won last Saturday night, and he will also be in action this coming Saturday night at the Wilmot Raceway. In the Bandits, some guy named Dave McKellips in the Hot Wheels car out of Mount Pleasant. He won the feature, I believe, and we'll make sure a little bit later on in the program that he also won the last feature of 2023 on our season finale for the season, and finally got a feature win this last Saturday night. But we're going to talk to him. He's going to be one of our guests on the program in just a little bit. And last but certainly not least, a former guest with us, Brian Strain Jr. out of Paris, Wisconsin. He won his second feature in the 1175 IRA Lightning Sprints at Wilmot and his fifth in the Lightning Sprints overall season, including their traveling shows. He is 5 for 5 this year, unbeaten, and he's 15 years old. And he was on the program with us a few weeks back, and we're probably going to get him once again. So, again, this coming Saturday night at Wilmot Raceway, the Lift Pro Hefner Racing Products wing sprint cars will be in action. The Wisconsin Autometer, powered by Gandrud Performance, Wilmot Raceway Catalyst Exhibit, wingless sprint cars will be in action. Also, the B&L Office Furniture, and powered by American Tire and Auto Repair of Lindenhurst and Kenosha. Bandits will also be in action this week. And also this week, I am pretty sure, I just got to double check my own schedule here, this coming Saturday night, it will be the Modifieds. The IMCA Modifieds will be in action. And yeah, Mother Nature did not play nice this last Monday night. We had hoped to have the Case Equipment World of Outlaw late models make their first ever appearance at the Wilmot Raceway. Mother Nature tossed us a real curve, and we were not able to race Monday night. We are awaiting word from the World of Outlaws. They are trying to find a suitable and agreeable makeup date. If we have that before the end of the show tonight, we will pass that along to you, because we're going to have the voice of the World of Outlaw late models. At least he's hoping to be with us tonight. And it is Ruben, who is the voice of the World of Outlaw late models. He's going to try to join us a little bit later on in the program. This last Saturday, we also had a great car show up at Hartnell Chevrolet. Want to thank the three bandits that came: Ryan Tiny Horse Johnson, Austin North, and also we had Jennifer Rooney's car. So we want to thank them for coming out. And in wingless sprint cars, it was Tom Eller that helped us out this last week and had his wingless sprint car on display at Hartnell Chevrolet. Keep an eye out. We are working on another show possibly coming up in just a few weeks at a location to be announced. We're kind of leaning toward Culver's, and we want to thank Culver's for their participation, Culver's of Paddock Lake. And also want to thank Cheryl McCreary and her band. We had quite a scare right at the end of the event. We had a wind gust come up, literally lifted their tent up, knocked over their drum set, knocked over their soundboard, knocked over their keyboard. Fortunately, no one injured. Also did the same thing to the folks from Marquitos Tacos. They had their tacos on display, really good, not on display, in everybody's tummies. They were really good as well, and their tent got damaged by the wind gusts, but everybody's physically okay. And Cheryl actually performed the national anthem last Saturday night at Wilmont, so we're hoping that everything comes out okay for them. They've got a big event on Saturday, and one of the car show places up in Racine, so we'll be looking forward to that as well. And speaking of that, of course, this coming Saturday at Wilmont Raceway, we've got Candy Night. Candy Night, it's going to, we want to thank the following folks that have contributed to the fund for the candy drop for the youngsters. And that leading off is MLS Auto Clinic and the Ryan Marshall Racing Team, Mark and Tony Maglio and the crew at Bodycraft that provides us with our pace vehicle, Hunt Club of Richmond, Jeff McCarnes, who is the driver of our pace truck each and every week. Thank you, Jeff. Also want to thank the Real Deal Estate Sales and Real Deal Vintage, which is located just across the street from Wilmont BP and Convenience Store and Auto Service. They are also contributors to the fund. The Tim Cox Racing Team, Agora Co-working of Grays Lake, the McKellips Racing Team, Branham Motorsports of the Lightning Sprints, Dennis Kratz and Kratz Plumbing, JL64 Lightning Sprint, the Davidson Family 7D Wingless Sprint Car, the Temptations Racing Gang, that's Ralph Johnson and George Gartner III, and there might be a third car in there, Tom Eller and the 29 OG, Tommy Sexton and the number 83 Winged Sprint Car, and Jimmy Sivia and the 91 team and that entire Sivia bunch. They have also helped out as well, and we want to thank all those fine folks. And also the Hunt Club of Richmond. We want to help them. And speaking of the Hunt Club of Richmond, Wednesday, September 11th, we're going to be doing the program live from the Hunt Club of Richmond. Racers and non-racers alike are invited to come out and bring your race cars. And that'll be on Wednesday, September the 11th. We're going to be, again, at the Hunt Club of Richmond, and we are looking forward to that. But this last weekend, we got to see some real sportsmanship, and we're going to bring the owner of the car on here, and that is Eddie Boyd, the owner of Ryan Marshall's number 7X, and also the owner, along with his wife Debbie, of MLS Auto Clinic, supporters of our program here, and really great supporters of auto racing in general. And Eddie, we got to see sportsmanship in action last week, and we want you to share your appreciation on behalf of Ryan's race team for what happened last Saturday night, and you can fill folks in on what did happen.
Well, we started out on a pretty sour note last Saturday night, Mike. As you know, we hurt the motor right out of the box. I don't think we even made a lap and a half in engine heat. Blew head gasket in the motor. So Tom Eller, I don't even know if he thought about it for 30 seconds, but he offered up his car right away so Ryan could stay in the points hunt. And I can't express enough gratitude to Tom for doing that, because that is probably the biggest favor a fellow racer can do for another racer. He didn't even think twice about it. So we really appreciate it. It helped immensely, obviously. we we were bolting our seat in Tom's car, and I got a phone call from Matt Vanderveer, who offered up his motor for the next night at Angel Park, which we did take him up on. We finished up at Wilmot, went straight to Matty's house and put his motor in our car, so we were able to race at Angel Park the next day. So it was, a couple of guys really responsible for keeping us in the whole weekend, in the points hunt, and it really, you hear the term racing family thrown around all the time, but this is racing family. It's what it's about.
Well, that's for sure. That is definitely for sure. And Tom has really helped out. He just about every time I've had an appearance for Wilmot Raceway, give a phone call to Tom or send him a text, and he says, "What time do I need to be there?" And then it was really funny because when we were at an event that they had in Antioch at one of the car dealers, and we couldn't get him to leave. I mean, everybody else had left, and I mean, he was still staying there, visiting with folks, and handing out schedules for Wilmot Raceway, and just saying, "Hey, come see me race tonight up at Wilmot." And just a really nice guy, and it does a lot for racing and to promote the sport, and that's what it's all about. So again, a tip of the hat to Tom. Again, he was at Hartnell Chevrolet just a few hours before he turned over and gave you the car.
Yeah. Tom is fantastic. I don't know anybody who can possibly have a bad word to say about Tom Eller. He's got one of the biggest hearts I've ever seen in racing, personally. Always answered the call whenever he's asked to promote the track, promote the series. He's just a stand-up guy. Tom is really the kind of guy that makes racing enjoyable.
Yeah, and it was funny. I don't know if you got to see it or folks have seen it yet, but we got a pretty funny picture of Tom's car at Hartnell with the mascot from Culver's of Paddock Lake in it. And it was it was pretty cool. And actually, the mascot of Culver's of Paddock Lake will be at Wilmot this weekend for the family night candy drop. And we want to thank also Culver's of Paddock Lake. They've given some special things that are going to be given away on Saturday night, and their mascot's going to come out to see everybody. And I don't know if we're going to get the mascot back in a race car Saturday night. I don't know if that's going to happen. But
I don't think Tom's going to give up his car 2 weeks in a row.
Well, and plus, I don't know if we'd be able to get all the safety equipment on the mascot. So, but again, thanks very much for everything you do, Eddie, and your wife Debbie. I mean, you guys have been great supporters of me personally, and in the car shows, that we had down in April down at the lakefront. We will be going back there next year. We're going to maybe switch it up a little bit and try to find a little bit warmer weather, and we might even do it on a Sunday after the season has started. We're taking a look at some different schedules, but we will be doing it again next spring at Waukegan Harbor. I mean, it was a lot of fun. We got a lot of great support. Ryan's car was there.
Yes, it was.
Ryan's car was there. And so, again, we thank you and Debbie for everything you do for us. And I know you've done a lot of work on Kathy's and my cars, and hopefully that's going to stop pretty soon. But
it doesn't have to totally stop, Mike.
There we go. Yeah, you still got to have maintenance. So
maybe the bills can get a little smaller.
There you go. That's for sure. So, well, again, thanks a lot. Hey, and real quick, though, because I'm drawing a blank right now, who did win on Sunday night up at Angel Park? I think you guys finished fourth.
We finished seventh.
Oh, seventh. Okay.
We were quick time. Ryan finished fourth in the heat race. We started 10th in the feature, and he finished seventh in the feature. Ryan Zielski won the feature. He's tough to beat at Angel Park. He's really good there. We're generally really good there too, but Ryan actually had a little misfortune on Sunday night that ended up helping him. His motor wasn't running real good, so he ended up qualifying 10th, and lo and behold, they pull a 5 for an invert pill, which puts him on the point. Track was a bit slicked off, so the horsepower didn't mean much. And And it probably kind of helped him out. But Ryan's a good enough driver that he does a lot of winning. You don't have to look very far back in our history to find out how many races the 14Z car has won. Any night you can beat him, you've accomplished something. So congratulations to him for winning on Sunday night. And congratulations to everybody that won Saturday night at Wilmot. I understand you have a couple on this show. And by the way, the Hot Wheels car is my favorite Bandit car, just so he knows.
Oh, there we go. Well, again, we appreciate you joining us, and enjoy the rest of your evening, and we'll see you Saturday. Again, thank you also for your great support of the Candy Drop. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to send a lot of kids home with a lot of sugar highs and having a lot of fun Sunday or Saturday, but we're looking forward to it, along with some great racing at the same time.
All right. You're welcome, Mike. We'll see you Saturday.
All right. Thank you. Take care. God bless.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. And again, we want to recognize some of the folks that do help us. MLS Auto Clinic, Eddie and Debbie Boyd, one of our partners here with the Let's Go Racing Motorsports Report. John Hatterline, attorney at law. Force One Performance, the Irwin family. Of course, B&L Office Furniture, Scott Carpenter. And then Great Lakes Dragaway, and we're going to have John on in a little bit with their report. Steve Sinclair and the Bumper to Bumper IRA Outlaw Sprint Cars. Impressions Count, Randy and his fine crew. Also, of course, Wilmot Raceway. And as I mentioned, Wilmot Raceway going to have the Candy Drop this coming Saturday night. And we are keeping our fingers crossed that we will be able to announce at some point a rescheduled World of Outlaw late model show. Things are still in the works, and hopefully an announcement will be coming sometime soon. RC Electronics, they help to keep me communicated. Fox Lake Harbor, or the Richmond Hunt Club, or the Hunt Club of Richmond, actually, is now what they are technically called. They changed owners, so changed names to the Hunt Club of Richmond. Also, Midwest Motor Coach and Olson Transportation. As we mentioned, MLS Auto Clinic, Eddie and Debbie Boyd. Nielsen Enterprises of Lake Villa. Weeby Waxon, Chad and his fine crew. Of course, the folks at Bodycraft. Buddies of McHenry. Culvers of Paddock Lake. A-Main Apparel. They do a great job. Garrett and the Tennyson family, A-Main Apparel and Diecast, they're actually en route to Knoxville and some other races in Iowa in the next couple of weeks. Also, Lake County Hose and Equipment, Bill Fusting, who does a lot of racing at Great Lakes Dragaway from time to time. The Stars and Stripes, and also Lake County Honor Flight. And I want to mention something about Lake County Honor Flight now. Lake County Honor Flight will be going out their 25th flight this coming weekend. They leave on Friday, August the 2nd, and they will return on Sunday, August the 3rd. They farewell, so to speak, is on Friday at 11:30, leaving from the Foss Park District Golf Course in North Chicago, heading up Martin Luther King Drive to Route 41, Route 41 to 94, 94 up to the Mitchell Airport. So if you want to join us at the golf course and bid them farewell and a good, safe journey, you can do that, or anywhere along the route is fantastic too. On Sunday, when they return, they will be coming back at about between 7:30-ish and 8 o'clock down I-94, back into North Chicago. From the entrance to 94 from Mitchell Airport all the way down, the interstate will be blocked. I'm going to give you the forewarning now. 4 state troopers will be blocking the interstate for the bus from Olson Transportation and Midwest Motor Coach that will be carrying the veterans back home to North Chicago. It will be completely blocked, and you will not be allowed to pass the motorcade, which usually is about 50 police cars, more than a presidential motorcade or a presidential candidate motorcade. So help support these veterans. They deserve it. And you can go to LakeCountyHonorFlight.org or .com, and you can actually send a little thank you note to them that they'll receive when they return. NICASA is going to have a big event coming up on August the 25th, a pickleball event. 5-star race car bodies. Again, we thank Daniel Sanchez and Corey Schultz and the entire crew out there, and Carl Schultz, of course, the owner, for having us last week. They had the big event planned Monday that Mother Nature said, not today. But they're looking forward to the rescheduled date as well. And we plan on being back out there before the end of the season to do another live broadcast from 5-Star Race Car Bodies. Also, Libertyville Manor, Generations of Care, and Young at Heart Preschool. And as I mentioned, Lake County Hose and Equipment, and Nielsen Enterprises. So we thank all those folks for helping us out. Hey, we see Carrie Lynn and Jennifer Wilms on there. Bobby Gash is tuning in. Bobby Gash, he and I go way back to the old Waukegan Speedway days. And he used to have his car in the car shows at Lakehurst. And great to see him tuning in. We are going to go now to, since I'm not exactly sure who's in the green room, I'm going to double check my contact, but I know we've got at least 2 people in the green room, or 3 people. So we're going to go to John right now in the green room. John will join us from Great Lakes Dragaway. Wake up there, John. No, I know you would. Hey, Bob Clem. Hey, welcome to the program. Good afternoon there, Bob Clem. We got a lot of folks tuning in today. That's pretty cool. John, you're with us there, Great Lakes Dragaway. Always busy. Tonight, Wednesday night, ladies' night up there at Great Lakes Dragaway. I know it's a little bit warm, but the ladies still get in for free. They still get to race for free. And, what else is going on besides tonight? What else do you have coming up here at Great Lakes Dragaway real soon?
Well, this weekend's going to be the bracket racing. The brackets are going to be going on Saturday and Sunday with the junior dragsters. That's pretty much, they do that during the at least once or a couple times a month. And then next, we're coming up with next Friday on the 9th. It's going to be early bird Friday where we can test and tune will come in early, because that Saturday will be our Nitro Streetcar Brawl. That's going to be on with the Wisconsin Outlaw Street. So it's going to be the early bird on Friday will be the special track prep from Total Venue Concepts. So it'll be prep for the drag radial cars, real sticky tracks. So the guys in the area that want to test on a sticky, well prepped track, Friday will be the day to do it. And Saturday I'll also be racing with the Nitro Streetcar Brawl that will be going on with the Wisconsin Outlaw Street. And then the big event on that the 11th will be the Larry's Fun Fest. That's a huge one that goes on. Party type race that goes on during the year. So that's kind of what we got in the near future that's coming up.
Well, I know we had a few of the drag racers that were planning on coming over to Wilmot last week or just a couple days ago for the late model show. Actually, I'm just hearing from one of my guests who's going to be getting in touch with me soon. Live podcast, you got to go with it. Right. So anyway, we're hoping to reschedule that, hoping to maybe even have some news before we get off the air tonight. But next weekend, the weekend of the 10th, we are off at Wilmot because we're preparing for the Kenosha County Fair, which runs the 14th through the 18th. Okay. And we'll be racing at Wilmot on the 14th and racing again on the 17th. And then there's some truck and tractor pulls and combine demo derbies and all that fun stuff. I must confess, the combine demo derby came to Wilmot after Broadway Bob came up with it.
Oh, that's cool.
It's been at Wilmot. Well, it's been a lot of places now. A lot of county fairs copied it. But the guy that came up with the original idea was Broadway Bob. And definitely a showman, just like Randy is today.
Yeah,
so cool. But since some of our quote circle track racers will be off that weekend, anything in particular that's going on, like the 9th, the 10th, the 11th?
Yeah, the 10th will definitely be the race to go to, where the Wisconsin Outlaw Street will be there with the Nitro Streetcar Brawl. We'll all be racing. That's a really fun race to watch because it's a 8th mile heads up. Really close races, really fast cars that are, running 170 miles an hour in the 8th mile plus, and it's some faster than that. Some of them are getting real close to 200 miles an hour in the 8th mile, which is crazy on a 10.5-inch drag radial. And then they also have a stick shift class. They're going to do race with the stick shift cars. And then they have the outlaw class that goes on, along with our Bruce City Gasser groups and Classic American Muscle Car Association, some of the Pro E85 groups that'll be racing. But yeah, that'll be it's always a good show. Those are usually really good events.
And I didn't catch his name. He was actually going to talk to you though, because he'd like to be on one of my shows in the future. We had one of your drivers come to the to Hartnell on Saturday. Stayed with us for a while. Had a nice looking, I believe it was a black Chevelle. I mean, the engine went through the hood.
Yeah.
I mean, it was all said. It had roll bars, the whole 9 yards. But he knew you and said he would, seek you out and definitely would get in touch with me because he'd like to be on the show at some point. And I said, we don't mind talking to John, but we love to have you too. So
you bet.
And I believe he is one of your Brew City Gassers. I'm pretty sure he was. I feel bad I didn't jot down his name.
I'm sure he'll be contacting me. We'll get him on here. Yeah, we can keep in touch.
So just like we got Bill on.
Sure. Yeah.
So again, where folks can go for the latest information on Great Lakes Dragway, go ahead and give them that Facebook page and phone number.
Yep. Phone number is 262-878-3783. The website, greatlakesdragaway.com, and then look at our Facebook page, Great Lakes Dragway on Facebook. That's really kept up well by Nathan. He's doing a great job of keeping everything up to date almost hourly and put some nice posts on there, which is pretty cool.
Well, that's fantastic. Well, John, again, we appreciate you joining us tonight. Stay cool.
Yeah.
It is plenty warm out there. They keep saying it's going to cool off, but, I guess we got to go through about another 24 hours of this. So
yeah, I've been working on my car in the shop and I got air conditioning on in there, so it's nice. Yeah, stay in there and work on it.
Well, that is why I am at my indoor studio this week. Usually I would do it from outside on our patio. Not tonight. I'm very comfortable down here with my cats.
You bet. Yeah.
All right. Good to see you, John. Take care. God bless. Tell Randy and everybody hello up at Great Lakes for me.
Will do, and we'll talk to you next week. Yeah.
Yep. Take care. Bye-bye. And that was John joining us from Great Lakes Dragaway. And we are now going to move on to Dave Coleman. Dave Coleman is joining us. Dave, welcome to the program. A long-time supporter of racing because I think he wrote about the chariots in the Coliseum.
Leave Ben Hur out of this. Come on.
No, he's just a super guy. He's definitely covered a lot of racing locally, nationally, even internationally. And welcome to the program with the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel.
Thanks, Mike. Great to be on with a Hall of Famer.
I appreciate that. Now, I jokingly used to tell you that every time you would try to come to Wilmot to watch us race or watch any racing program, it would rain. Now
Gotcha.
we did manage to get you to a couple in the last year or so that it didn't rain, or at least it didn't rain until the end. But Monday was not the case. I don't think you ever got in your car and headed down to Wilmot Monday. Unfortunately, Mother Nature just was not cooperative.
No, that was unfortunate because to see a first time thing is always cool. With certainly the Outlaws sprint cars have been such a staple there, and opportunity to see the late models. Hopefully that can find a makeup.
And that is for sure. That is for sure. I'm actually got to do something real quick here because one of my guests needs the link resent to him. So
and it wasn't me.
It wasn't you. It wasn't you. No. But anyway. So what I'm going to do is let you talk a little bit while I resend this, and tell the folks a little bit about how you got interested in racing, and also what some of the most exciting race events you've been able to cover, and also the neatest race car driver nationally, internationally, or even locally that you've been able to interview. Take it away. Give me about 5 minutes.
Sure. It's definitely a multi-parter, and I hope I can remember some of the later parts by the time I get through the earlier answers. But no, I sort of fell into racing. It wasn't something I grew up around. It wasn't something I didn't go to the races when I was a little kid or anything like that. I went to college at UW-Milwaukee and started working at the Sentinel part-time while in college, answering the phone and taking bowling scores and cleaning up box scores and all that sort of fun stuff. But I was looking for the next opportunity. And really the first opportunity that came along, or one of the first opportunities, was the chance to help out Phil Cash, who was covering motorsports for the Sentinel at the time. I forget if it was just tagging along to help him or going to something while he was off doing something else. And but it didn't take me long to figure out that if you're covering racing, I was going to have a winner. Well, unless it's Mother Nature, but generally speaking, you're going to be talking to somebody who want to talk to you, who's happy to talk to you. Whereas if you're covering a stick and ball team, you're going to be around people who aren't happy half the time. So that's kind of how I got into it. Yeah, it's hard to think about it, but this is my 35th season, I believe. 35th season of doing this regularly. That closer every year to those days, right? So yeah, I've had the opportunity to do every Indy 500. I did the Daytona 500 for many years. I did the Formula One race at Indy, when it was there. So I've gotten to see a lot of things. To pick, one or two favorites would imply that I could remember what I had for lunch, much less what races I saw in 1993. But a lot of interesting races. Certainly, unfortunately, some of the more memorable is like the race when Dale Earnhardt died. That's unfortunately that kind of stuff sticks with you for all the times that you're writing about happy people. That's just so much different from the usual day out at the office. So those are the ones that stick in your head. But on the other end, I got a chance to see two of the four-time Indy winners win their fourth. I got to see all four of Castronevis's. So, those are, on the flip side, those are some of the very cool days. The more engaging, entertaining, delightful drivers. I just mentioned two of them. Rick Mears just, was one of those guys who was still in his prime when I started, and was just very good with a guy who didn't know a whole lot, which I admit. It's a lot easier to admit now than it was in 1990, but that's how it is, right? Was just a great guy to work with. Castronevis, I've saw him through his Indy Lights days and on through, and now I can call him an old man. Got the opportunity to see him. It was kind of funny, when SRX ran at Slinger Speedway there a couple of years back, to see some of those guys that I had covered, like Elio, but many of them who I had covered in their natural forms of racing, now finally kind of in my element, was, when you point to the interesting or just, truly different things, that was about, honestly, as interesting a day as I can think of at the racetrack, because in so many ways it just didn't make sense. Why am I at a race with a 60 whatever year old Bill Elliott racing against guys who'd raced in the Indy 500, against a 17-year-old kid or whatever Luke Fenhouse was at the time, against Haley Deegan. It was just it was just so different. I really liked that concept. I wish that actually, I think last week would have been the return had that series survived. So I don't know if I killed your 5 minutes, but I think I rattled off some of my favorites and more interesting things I've seen and got to do. And of course, hanging out with you in the rain is always fun.
That's true, and actually, what's funny is we probably hung out in the rain in more racetracks than I can think of because between Road America, the Mile, Wilmot, probably Plymouth. I don't know. There's quite a few tracks we've been at together where it's decided to rain. At least at Road America, we were usually in the up in the media tower, and they didn't care if it rained. They just
slow things down a little bit.
Yeah, no, throw on the rain tires. That's all right.
Yeah.
Go out there. Well, and I'll tell you, locally too. What's one of the events that you've seen really take off and grow? Maybe started out as a small event and now it's just huge.
Boy, that's definitely a test for the memory, and I'm not sure I can exactly answer that. I can. Let me twist the question a little bit. Let me give you an answer, and you can tailor the question to it. The sort of the evolution of the Slinger Nationals over the course of the last how many ever years. When I started, it was Dick Trickle was the guy, and Joe Shear, and some of those guys, and you had some visiting NASCAR guys, and then we saw the emergence of Matt Kenseth. He was a guy who started locally and then went on to bigger and better, another Hall of Famer, and came back and still enjoyed competing in those cars at that track. And now, that we've had a few years of the national touring guys making that a stop, and maybe, still having the occasional Cup guy or NASCAR visitor. So it's just one of those things that, it was 10 years old when I started doing it, and now it's 40. So it's 45, I guess. I tried to make myself younger there, didn't I?
Sorry.
Yeah, I don't.
We all have to,
Yeah.
That's why. Why do you think I'm wearing a hat? You can't see the gray hair.
Yeah, we've definitely we've had a lot of years. We've had some that were forgettable, and we had some other ones that we should forget probably.
Yeah, but I'll tell you, I can recall some of the different events, like you say, that you've been to, and unfortunately, I think we've both been to different racetracks too that aren't there anymore. Rockford, probably the most recent, shutting down after last season. I was fortunate enough to call their pentultimate, if I'm pronouncing that right, the second to the last show. I announced that for the Dearies, and then, of course, Lake Geneva Raceway, where my wife Kathy and I got married on the front straightaway, the last major event that they had, back in 2006. I actually called the last motorcycle race at Hales Corners, flat track motorcycle race that they had there that Craig Hemman brought in that group. So we've seen too many places go, but then we've seen places like Wilmot where the Fair Board has invested a lot in the last probably 5-6 years.
As someone who has the opportunity to shoot photos as well as write, I can't thank the Fair Board enough for the lights, because it's the nicest place we go these days. I appreciate that. And yeah, you can tell all the effort that's put in and the money that's been spent. I have never had, I've never sat in the grandstand there, but it sure looks nice. And you can see what's going on now. It's also, been a little tricky at some of those places. So, you're right. It's a place that's come a long way over the last couple of years.
Well, we've actually got a guy that's going to talk to us in a little bit, but we're going to make him enjoy the beverages in the green room here a little bit. Ruben is going to be joining us from the World of Outlaw Late Models, and he's getting ready up there in Cedar Lake for the big events up there this weekend. So we're gonna get to him shortly. But actually, right now, I'm going to bring in Dave. I'm going to thank you for joining us. We've been wanting to do this for a while. This will not be the last time I have you on, especially since you were able to fill a few minutes for me. You not only owe me, but you don't owe me. Ruben and I both owe you because I was able to get him the link. So, and so he's going to be on with us in a little bit. So, Dave, always great to see you. Always enjoy chatting and talking racing with you. And we'll be talking to you again soon. And we will definitely let you know when the makeup day is for the World of Outlaw Late Models. I'm sure.
All right, looking forward to it.
All right, take care, Dave.
Thanks,
Thank
Mike.
you. God bless. Bye-bye. That was Dave Coleman with the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel, and we're going to bring in the McKellips family real quickly with us here. We have David McKellips and Jessica McKellips, and if you can't figure out who is who, that you got a problem. But first of all, congratulations on a big win last Saturday night, David, in the Hot Wheels car. And as you heard, Eddie Boyd, that's his favorite Bandit. Maybe you should go talk to him and see if you can put a MLS, a sticker on it, and you might work something out there.
Yeah. I'm sure
so, there you go. Well, welcome. And again, congratulations. I know it was the first win this year. If I did look at all my history correct before I wrote the press release Saturday night, I believe you won the final race last year, or
yes.
Yep. So you had one in 2023, now one in 2024, and you're not going to wait till 2025 for the next one, are you?
I'm hoping not.
That's for sure. Well, tell the folks a little bit about the win on Saturday, what you had to do. And I know it wasn't easy. I mean, people say, well, gee, he led every lap. But, that doesn't mean a lot. And especially when the final, Brad Becker finishes like 0.06.
No, Craig Kreiser.
Oh, Craig Kreiser. I'm sorry. That's right. No, well, the guys in them white cars, But then the top four were separated by less than a half second.
Nice.
You didn't know that.
I didn't know that. I didn't.
And you were probably happy you didn't know that.
I didn't even know that Craig Kreiser was that close.
Oh, he was right there. He was right there, that's for sure. But tell the folks a little bit about the run.
I wish I could see a better view of that finish. I really do.
Well, I'm sure somebody will have it on video somewhere eventually. But tell the folks a little bit about the run and obviously who you want to thank getting that Hot Wheels car to the track every week, besides the person sitting next to you.
I'm definitely got to thank my McKellips racing team. There's so much help. It's awesome. When that race started, I pretty much had it. But cautions change everything. So I had a very big lead at the beginning. And then the caution, brought those fast cars right back on my bump. And I knew I had to play more of a defense at that point. I stayed out front, and the red flag came out, and then I thought, all right, this is it. I'm going to lose this one on the last lap because it happened to me the last race that we did. It was I just went as fast as I could, as hard as I could, and I played defense. You can't just drive fast, and you gotta remember to play defense. Because if you know that there's 5 cars behind you, you gotta know and change your line sometimes.
Now, whatever you decided to do, you decided the right thing, because you you were the guy that came across first. And really, I mean, I'm not exaggerating. I don't think. I mean, we don't keep a lot of those records, but in all the years I've been at Wilmot, I don't recall the top four being a half a second apart ever before. And
you definitely got to work the lap traffic too. So, and this is for any driver out there. I don't care if you're racing the top of the line sprint car or a 4-cylinder car. You got to look ahead of you, and when there's lap traffic, know where you're going to go. And you got to know what that car in front of you is going to do. So over the years of me racing at Wilmot, I've learned a lot about the drivers and what they're going to do. And if you don't know that could end your night. You know, you lose the lead by taking the wrong side of a car. So you got to get past those lap cars, and you got to use those lap cars to win races.
And we're gonna slide over to the other side of the room here to Jessica now, and I'll tell you, I also never saw so many people coming up and hugging the guy that just won the race, other drivers. But the first one that got to him was Jessica. That was for sure. She was the first one to him, and you finished fifth. Now you weren't one of the ones in that half a second.
No,
so I don't know
a
if you
hell
were
of a
just
seat.
hanging back there because you wanted to watch everything that was happening in front of you, and didn't want to get up there and goof anything up for your husband, but or
No,
it just worked out.
I was trying and hoping that they would all mess each other up somehow and then take first.
There you go. That's for sure.
And
So
we had
when
all
you guys
four
are
of
out
our-
there racing together, I mean, we had Tiny Horse Johnson on last week with Jennifer, and I said, you know, do you guys worry about each other when you're out there on the track together? And they kind of said, well, only when the red comes out or when a yellow comes out, then we kind of look around to see where they are.
Yep.
And you know, and now of course, you know, with Brent and Dave talking to you guys on Receiver, particularly if there's a red, they let you know, hey, you know, the driver's okay, and they a lot of times I think they even give you the number of the driver, so you know, so you're not guessing. But for you, Jessica, I mean, could you see the finish in front of you?
Absolutely. I wasn't that far behind.
No, you weren't. You were on the same, you know, about maybe a half a straightaway.
Yeah.
Or so, you know, they were crossing the line and you were coming out of 4. So, and there weren't too many laps cars in between you either. So,
Nope. It was wonderful to watch that too. It was great.
and, you know, people that the two of you want to thank that get you to the racetrack every week. And I also want to thank the two of you for helping out with the candy drop. Really appreciate that. I know the kids are going to appreciate it on Saturday. I don't know how many parents are going to appreciate all the candy that we give the kids on Saturday when they don't go to sleep till 4:00 Sunday morning.
Yeah.
But anyway, you know, sponsors, folks that you want to thank that get you to the track every week, and people that help work on your cars and get you there every week.
Well, we need to thank our entire McKellips racing team, who consists of us and Carrie Wilms in the 11W, Kevin Chasen in the 49K, and Jimmy Walton in the 49J. Our sponsors, Walter, Lifford Lumber, OTB, Old MKE Pub, Hussey's Softball out of Racine, Mayor Repair, Ray-By Paving out of Texas, Remax Realty, Realtor Renee Shaning, Fall Hazard, who is a band, Racine Gymnastics Center, and Ron Sports Pub.
I noticed Dave just let you kind of run with that. He was like, and then I probably would go over to Dave and he'd go, ditto.
Those are all our sponsors, and I wanted her to do it because I couldn't screw things up when I started talking.
There you go. Well,
I'm a better wrench. I fix cars. when I start talking, I say some things that I shouldn't say.
Oh no, that's all right. You guys do a great job, and I know, of course, you also want to thank Scott Carpenter at B&L Office
Absolutely.
Furniture and American Tire and Auto Repair for coming on board this year, as for supporting and sponsoring your entire division. And I think that's pretty cool. And I know that there's going to be a lot of celebrating coming up in January. So, well, we're gonna let you go so you can get to work on your race cars and get them all ready to go for Saturday. And see if Dave can make it 2 for 2 in a row, or Jessica can get number 1. How does that sound?
Sounds great to me.
I hope one of our 4 cars make it.
Yeah, we're gonna have 4 cars out there again.
All right, that sounds great. That sounds great. Again, somebody's.
This is Carrie Wilms.
Hi, Carrie Wilms. Yeah, well, we'll get Carrie on. We're going to have sometime in the very near future. I'm going to have all females on the show. So
that'd be awesome.
Yeah, I'm going to work on that.
Better talker than I am.
And I might even get a female to do the interviews. I might get Mia to do the interviews. So, and I might take the week off and go fishing or something.
Speaking of fishing, a couple things. First, B&L Office, I consider him a sponsor and a really good friend.
Absolutely.
I love that man. He's such a good guy. He's just a good guy. That being said, I was watching some of your podcasts from previous, and you go to Cabin on the Lakes.
Yes, I do.
Do you know the owners of that?
Yes, I do. Patty and Eddie.
Ed is my old boss from working with Walter.
Wow.
I've been wanting to get up there. I got to reach out to him, and maybe we'll go up there at the same time.
That sounds good. We were just there for a family reunion the week we were off racing a week ago. We took over all the cabins.
That's very, very, very well.
Well, I will let them know that. All right, thanks a lot. And they are.
I got to reach out to them.
Yep, they are one of our quasi sponsors here of the show too. So again, that's pretty cool. All right, we're going to let you guys go. Again, thanks a lot. We'll see you Saturday for all the candy, and we'll see you for the racing.
Absolutely.
Right. Peace and Legos.
Thanks. God bless.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, and that was the husband-wife team of Dave and Jessica McKellips. Dave, the winner of the Bandit feature last Saturday at the Wilmot Raceway. We're going to bring in a guy. I hope he's not still in the shower, but Ruben is going to join us now. He is the voice of the World of Outlaw late models. Ruben, welcome to the program. I'm glad you don't look like your hair's dripping, so I don't think we got you out of the shower. That's almost an inside joke, but that's what happens sometimes when you say something or try to type something. You type it too fast, and it comes out whatever it comes out. So, but you were on the river today. So,
yes.
How did you do?
It was great, man. First of all, Mike, before we get to that, I just want to thank you for having me on the show. And I want to apologize because I was supposed to be on the show 2 weeks ago. And I apologize for that. 2 weeks ago, I was on vacation. And then last week, I was supposed to be on. I was 100% committed. And then I had 3 delays, 1 cancellation. And it was just a long day at the airport. I didn't get to my destination until 11 p.m., excuse me. So it was a long day. But no, Cedar Lake Speedway, always fun. Of course, after the Prairie Dirt Classic, one of our favorite events as well. And it all kicks off here with the River Float with Be an Outlaw program, our fan rewards program, where fans could sign up at be-anoutlaw.com. And it was a lot of fun. We had 3 full buses of we had drivers, race fans, our crew. It was a lot of fun, and I feel really relaxed. I apologize for the attire. I'm usually in uniform for something like this, but still in the Under Armour shirt and the Cedar Lake Speedway press box setting up.
Well, there you go. That's for sure. Well, I hope it's a little bit cooler, that the press box is air conditioned, because it is quite warm here in Antioch, which is about 10 or 15 minutes from Wilmot. Again, I know that you were probably as disappointed as I was. I was really looking forward to working with you Monday at Wilmot, and Mother Nature she was on our side till about 11:30 Monday morning, and then she decided to open up the heavens one more time, and that just ended it.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I mean, obviously, we all looked at the radar. We saw the percentage. The percentage wasn't getting any better. Let's put it that way. The forecast wasn't getting any better. And unfortunately, we saw what the radar did, and we saw what fell at the racetrack, and it was just too much. And it's unfortunate. It's the second time. I unfortunately didn't get to Wilmot today. We were at lunch when they notified us. But I went back in 2018, my first year at Dirt Car Summer Nationals. I set all my equipment up, Mike, and unfortunately didn't get to call a lap of action. I just went back up and tore it down in the rain and came back out. So hopefully we get to go again later this year. Again, there's nothing announced quite yet, but hopefully things work out and we get to see you.
That'd be great because, like I mentioned to you, and I mentioned it to Daniel Sanchez too, who we've been working with quite a bit with Five Star, because Five Star was going to have a big, huge company outing on Monday and everything, and they had to kind of postpone that too, and they're just waiting. We're all hoping that something's able to get worked out. The fans, we had just tremendous interest, Ruben. Fantastic interest. And we just want to make it, I know everybody wants to make it happen.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, we wanted to make it happen too. Our drivers are excited. When you go from Prairie Dirt Classic and you go to USA Nationals, you have that week off, right? And there's a lot of days off. I know you want to rest and relax, but there's only so much you can do, right? And our guys really wanted to get another race in, but unfortunately, Mother Nature didn't let it happen. But hey, hopefully later this year, if not, for sure next year.
And now you've got a big event coming up this weekend at Cedar Lake. Of course, we're running Saturday, so our folks couldn't come for the finale, but they could come for Thursday and Friday. So tell the folks a little bit about what's happening up there at Cedar Lake.
Yeah, so obviously we're on the other side of Wisconsin, over here on the western side by Minneapolis, and we're getting ready to rock and roll. Opening night of the USA Nationals tomorrow, World of Outlaws Case Late Models. Thursday, Friday are 2 Every Lap Matter programs with the World of Outlaws Case Late Models. So drivers will accumulate points from qualifying, heat race finish, LCS finish, and feature finish, and they will put their best night towards Saturday. It's not a cumulative points, so their best night between Thursday and Friday, their best points night will count for Saturday, and that will line them up for heat races on Saturday based off Every Lap Matter points. And of course, Saturday, $50,000 to win. But Cedar Lake, I'm telling you, 6-heat program. We're expecting over 50 cars. 6-heat program, Thursday, Friday. You'll have 2 LCSs and a feature. And these guys get it on, man. And of course, the weekly late model races here at Cedar Lake are definitely fun to watch.
That's for sure. That's for sure. Now, I understand this last weekend in the finale down there at Fairbury, I'm sure, I'm not going to make your decision for you, but I'm sure it was one of the most exciting feature finishes you've ever called in your career, from what everybody told me and from what I saw as well.
Yeah. Obviously, I mean, if you love dirt late model racing, it was the story that came out right. I know everyone has their opinion on social media. I've been seeing that all week, but here's the thing, and no one's asked me this question yet. Here's my side of the story about Fairbury. It's no different than a Josh Rice possibly winning the North-South 100 at Florence, right? That's his home track. He cut his teeth there. It'd be no different if a Hudson O'Neal won at Brownstown. It'd be no different if like a Garrett Alberson or Stormy Scott won the Wild West Shootout from New Mexico, because that's where it's at. It'd be no different if Chris Madden won at Eldora. It's alluded to him, right? He's got so many seconds and still hasn't got that crown jewel at Eldora. It's the story, right? Every single Illinois driver, from Shepard to Erb to even Fager and all them guys, have won the Prairie Dirt Classic. Bobby Pierce has never even won a Summer Nationals race at Fairbury until 2 years ago. He finally won there. Let's say it was last year. He finally won a Summer Nationals Fairbury race. So it's always been his kryptonite, Fairbury, right? So you look at the story, you look at the emotion. It wasn't just my emotion coming out. It was Mike Norris's emotion coming out. And you could just feel it at Fairbury. I know the broadcast was a little different at Fairbury because we have a big crowd. That crowd was electric. You could feel the ground shaking with how loud the fans were, Mike. And it's electric, and it gets the best out of you, right? The emotions, right? So it was an emotional one because of the story that it was. He had never won the PDC. He's led 262 laps of that race. He's finished second twice, third twice. I mean, the list goes. He's flipped while leading the PDC. And nothing against Nick Hoffman, right? Nick Hoffman did phenomenal. If Nick Hoffman would have won, we would have lost our mind for Nick Hoffman. I keep saying it. I would lose my mind if Dustin Walker, Brent Larson, Tyler Birding, Chamberlain, McLaughlin, Sorensen, any of our outlaw guys that are still looking for their first win would get their first win. So it was definitely a one for the history books of not just the World of Outlaws or the Fairbury Speedway or the Prairie Dirt Classic. It was one for the history in dirt late model racing, and we witnessed history, and it was a phenomenal finish.
Yeah, well, we can tell you're still excited about it, which I mean,
good.
And that's really, I mean, we both do that. I mean, that's why we do what we do.
Absolutely.
You know, you know, if we weren't excited about this, nothing against golf, but we would go call golf or something.
Yeah, exactly. It was a lot of fun. And, you know, with the World of Outlaws, we have so many good competitors between Shepard and Hoffman and Pierce and Gustin and Shirley and Bronson. And the list goes on and on and on. We have 15 great guys. And when you add the regional guys of Illinois or wherever we're at, for example, up here in Wisconsin, you know what I mean? It just makes it even more interesting. And night in, night out, it just seems to be, you know, knock on wood, I don't want to jinx it, but night in, night out, it just seems like, man, we always have an exciting race no matter what.
That's for sure. Well, I'm going to be looking forward to watching the video because I'll be on the mic at Wilmot on Saturday for our candy drop night. But when I get home, I will definitely be looking it up and looking forward to your call. And we're all keeping our fingers crossed that we're able to get something worked out and we get the World of Outlaw late models back at Wilmot before the end of the year. So and as soon as we know something, I know the Outlaws will announce it. We'll announce it. I'll announce it on my show here, and we'll get the word out to everybody so we can get everybody back to Wilmot once again to watch those late models.
Yeah, I wish I had the breaking news to break it right now, right on your show. That would have been phenomenal. That would have broke, you know, the storylines. But nonetheless, unfortunately, no, I don't know anything. I haven't heard anything.
I haven't either.
Yeah, our season obviously winding down. It's kind of tough to put it somewhere, but hey, it doesn't mean yes, it doesn't mean no. Maybe it does work out. I personally haven't heard anything. So the moment I do, Mike, I know I will text you, I will call you, and we'll let you know. And of course, it'll be out soon to the public. But if it doesn't work out this year, you know, I don't see why we won't be back next year. Wilmot Raceway. I know I came on in the show earlier and I was listening to you guys' conversation. I forget who the guest was, but they said the fairgrounds treats you so nice, and that's a big thing, right? Fairground racetracks sometimes, for the most part, 80% of the time, kind of get pushed to the side. And for you guys to be a fairgrounds track, the last time I was there to now, I heard from the Sprint Cars, our sister series, the World of Outlaws Sprint Cars. They were there about a month ago. They told me, hey, there's a brand new tower, a lot of improvements and stuff. So that's really neat. And with the World of Outlaws, Steve Francis, their series director, his big thing is more wealthy race teams. But at the same time, he wants to support the racetracks that are putting an investment back into the racetrack. And you guys are doing all the right things. You guys check all the boxes. And how I said, I have no doubts that we will be back.
Well, that's great. And, you know, yeah, Jennifer Hesse and also Chris Klemko, who's in charge of a lot of our promotions and our races at Wilmot, along with the entire fair board. They have worked very, very hard to do this. And it's a team effort, just like you guys are on the road. We are at Wilmot, and we're looking forward to you guys coming back. So we know you got work to get back to, and we will have you on again. I assure everybody
Absolutely.
out there, we will have you back again, and I appreciate you taking the time. And I can't wait till we're in the tower announcing together.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, I apologize for not being on the show 2 weeks ago. I was on vacation getting ready for this big swing. I had been home 3 days the past month and a half. So we're on the road a lot. Don't get to enjoy the off days very many. So I went on vacation. And then last week I had the 3 delays and cancellations. So my apologies to the fans for the ones that really wanted me on here, and we're looking forward to it. I know you had kind of announced it as well. And our friends at 5 Star, I know they were going to be there, proud sponsors of our Rookie of the Year battle. Our rookies are doing a great job. And you were at their shop last week. So I was really looking forward to talking to everyone at 5 Star. So my apologies to everyone at 5 Star, Wilmot Raceway, you and your show, Mike. But hey, that's why I wanted to come on here today, make it up to you. I'm literally setting up in the tower right now as we talk. So I got the microphones and the flag stand and the flag stick. So I'm in the Cedar Lake Tower, but nonetheless, I had to make time for you guys, and I will definitely be on the show again. Hopefully, we're breaking news next time.
Sounds great. Again, appreciate it, Ruben. My best to the people with the Outlaws there, and we'll be looking forward to you soon.
Absolutely. Thank you, Mike.
Take care. God bless. Bye-bye. That's going to do it for this week's show. And again, I want to thank all my guests and everybody that helped out. I also want to thank Ricky Nelson and Mia that helped out on the mic last week. And Ricky just doing a great job. Mia's getting better and better every week. And yes, I am serious. Maybe we're going to get her to host the show, an all-female show coming up sometime soon. Don't forget this Saturday night, Wilmot Raceway, Candy Drop Night. You got to come. It's always a lot of fun. We thank all the Candy Drop supporters. If there's anybody else that wants to jump on board of the Candy Drop supporters, you can get in touch with me at Michael Babicz at AOL.com, or you can get in touch with Jenny at the fair office, and we'll add you to the list. So again, looking forward to seeing everybody Saturday night. Until next time, this is Mike Babicz wishing you a pleasant evening, the best of tomorrows. Remember, kids, just say no to drugs. Thanks. Good night. God bless everybody. And let's go racing.